Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm the FX Trade Analyst, and we're back here for the weekly analysis on the currency pairs. All right, last week analysis was interesting. We saw some moves in the market. It looks like the dollar index is beginning to retrace. Its retracement seems to have started. We saw a break of structure before the end of the week. And the other currency pairs as well with the USD are beginning to look like they're doing their retracement, right? The gold, we saw gold as well did a very good move to the upside, and then it looked like it's going to retrace now. I mean, a few economic news came out last week, impacted the market, but not greatly. Okay, looking at the dollar index, like I said, has beginning to make it looked like it's going to now make its retracement back to the upside. Remember, in the previous weeks we've looked at this chart, and we've clearly seen that the chart had been clearly ranging in this area, right? It's just been staying here for some time. When we first started breaking down this structure, what we noticed that we said it's going to happen that we might see a particular range in this area where we're going to see the dollar index move up and down, and then we now said that it might not really move back to any of these retracement zones before it begins to make its way back down. But I am thinking strongly from what I'm looking at that we might see a dollar index that might take its way up until at least the 618 before it begins to make its way down. That's what I'm looking at. If we jump right into this is the daily time frame. If we jump right into the 4-hour time frame, and I'll clear up my charts. We see that there seems to be some sort of a break of structure that has happened into the last week. Or of course, that since we started looking at this, we are hoping to see a dollar index that will have come back here, and then we were expecting that it will continue to make its way up from here. But what we saw happen in the last week was a sweep under this liquidity. It came back up and then came back again to sweep the liquidity that is generated for all the people who had taken a long position before. It now seems that it's beginning to make its way back up again. And of course, if you look at this, you will see that there's a clear break of structure before the close of the market, and then we might possibly begin to see a move to the upside. So I'm clearly looking at this structure, and I'm carefully watching it to see what is going to happen, to see if this move that we are looking at here, if I jump down to say the 1-hour time frame, so we can clearly see how that is going, and I'll clearly take out these markings. We'll see that it looked like we're beginning to see an uptrend, right? We're beginning to see a higher high, a lower high, higher high, lower high, higher high, come down here, did sweep liquidity, and then made another higher high here. So we might begin to see the dollar index begin to retrace until it goes back to those retracement zones that we've earlier have marked up for it. All right, so that's what I'm expecting to happen. So guys, in the coming week, let's clearly look out for the dollar index and the move that is going to happen. All right, I think that there's going to be some retracement. In fact, I'm beginning to see that this retracement might be possible with this new break of structure that has happened, because it looked like we were originally seeing a resistance level somewhere around here previously, and then it had come to break that structure, and it looks like it's beginning to go back to the upside. If you notice here, a lot happened here in the last week. All right, so this clearly shows that we might have a retracement, and then this retracement of course will impact the rest of the currency pairs with the dollar on it. We quickly go to the Euro USD. If we look at the Euro USD, like I will always say, it follows the same pattern, or it respects the move with the dollar index. So by the time we see the dollar index doing a retracement to the upside, we should see Euro USD doing a retracement. But of course, on this time, it's retracing to the downside. All right, it's becoming bearish. Last week, if you remember the last week analysis we did, we had clearly marked out this trend line, and we're saying, okay, let's look at what is going to happen by the time it returns to this trend line, right? We saw a move on the Euro USD, which has been some form of a bullish structure forming into the last week. We made another lower low here, a lower high here, and then came down, did like a break of structure here, but it has come back to that trend line, but did not break this last one, right? Did not break this last higher highs made here. It made a lower high here, and then it broke the structure, and it looks like a downtrend is beginning to form. I'm possibly seeing that there might be a bounce in this area. It will come bounce in this area, move back up, and then maybe come and retest this trend line before it begins to move back down. The original analysis that is that this retracement will have to come and swipe all of this area that has formed, all right, all of this area that has been formed in this zone. I am possibly very confident that EURUSD will still come back and retest all of these zones up until this support area before it begins to make its way to the upside again, right? But the market has a mind of its own, and it moves in certain ways, and we cannot hold it. So we have to follow the flow of the market. We don't have to force anything. We don't have to agree that whatever we say is going to happen. We just carefully watch the market and then be able to take the best of the trades. Then we will see them. Now, if we go into GBPUSD, we see that GBPUSD, of course, all of the currency pairs are following the move on the dollar index. We've seen a GBPUSD that has started a descent to the downside, right? Last week, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, we'll clearly see that the structures we talked about the previous week were disrespected, and of course, GBPUSD is beginning to make its way to the downside. The overall structure, if you remember in the previous week, we talked about gold retracing to these zones. Remember, we marked out this fib zone, and we're saying that we're looking for a GBPUSD that will come to either of the 50 or the 618 retracement zones. Okay, and then of course there's a clean area of support here that we're still looking forward to. But it looked like maybe, just maybe, that the GBPUSD might seem to have started to make its descent towards the downside. But where it's coming to, first of all, we're expecting that it's going to come down to swipe all of these levels, right? All of this liquidity. Remember, there's a liquidities area here. I'll just mark it out, trendline liquidity. Of course, we're looking forward to what's going to happen on how this chart or these trades are going to just take out these liquidities here. But of course, for now, there's a clean area of if I expand this chart, there's a clean area of support here. All right, there's a clean area of support, just exactly almost the same scenario that we saw in EURUSD. That same scenario is playing out with the GBPUSD. Of course, we're going to be looking forward to the possibilities first for the GBPUSD to come back, test this area, probably swipe all the liquidity here, then move to the upside, test this again, come back, maybe test this resistance area before it begins to make its move to the downside. All right, so the overall structure we're expecting for the GBPUSD is to go to the downside and sweep all of this liquidity that has been generated at this place. Okay, that's what we're expecting. But then again, we're going to be looking for a possibility for the to go short in the coming week. We're looking for to go short, to take trades to the downside in the coming week. All right, so I'm looking forward to just the same way I analyzed the EURUSD. That's exactly what I'm going to be looking forward to take with the GBPUSD. Of course, if we jump into, say, the 1-hour time frame, I'm going to carefully be watching out what is going to happen with the GBPUSD. Of course, there's this area of support here, and I'll wait for the trade to come down, test it, push back up, come back. If it comes to test this area again and makes it move to the downside, just like we said, I'll remove this, just like we talked about in EURUSD, I'll be watching out for a trade in this area, right? I'm watching out for any fair value gaps that are going to be created in this area, and then I'm going to use it to go shorts, all right, on GBPUSD. So I'm going to be looking for any possible trade setups. Looking for any possible short trade setups in this area in the coming week. I'll put my stop loss somewhere and then begin to look for trade in this area. Okay, so that might be the possible trade setups I'm looking forward to take in the coming week. So guys, let's carefully watch. All right, remember again, we just follow the market moves and the trends, and then don't force anything to happen. There's going to be a lot happening in this area, of course, in the coming week. So carefully look at it. Maybe if we catch a trade, it might be a possible trade setup that might form to the upside. then we can take a trade. I just do a general analysis for the week, and what I see that is going to be a general direction for the entire market. Of course, it's good to take trades in the same direction that the market is. We don't have to go against the market, but if you understand what you're doing, you can possibly and carefully take trades in any direction of the market if you know how to analyze the chart and know how to take the best possible trade setups. Remember last week we threw in USD JPY and we said let's look at what is going to happen there. Of course, I saw an opportunity for a particular pattern forming in the market, and I felt it's going to be good if we look at it and see if we can pick some trade opportunities. Last week, if you remember clearly, we marked out this area of support and resistance, and then we say if the trade returns to this area that we're probably going to take a trade. Of course, we see that in the last week trade had made its way to the upside, created a new structure, pushed back up, did a lower high, pushed a higher high, and then came back to test that area, and now had made another new high and came back, and of course is going to go back. Remember, the ultimate the target position we're looking at was for it to come back and test this area of trend line, right? To test this area of resistance. We're looking at here. Resistance area were clearly marked out in this place, all right? And then of course, if we remember, we said that it was forming a beautiful trend line in this area. If you see that it has respected this trend line going all the way to the downside, right? So we are carefully going to watch for the USDJPY to come back, test this, and then possibly begin to find its descent to the downside, because there's a certain place it's coming to test in this area of support here, right? It's coming back to test this area of support, but before it makes its way down, which is going to be a very long time before it gets to that place, we are carefully looking at all the trade possibilities that is happening within the week. So in the coming week, of course, I took a trade, just like I carefully mentioned. I took a trade. If I go to the 1 hour time frame, I took a trade when this got back to this area. When it got back to this area and tested here, of course, I took a trade and I was able to catch some amount of the moves. I can't remember. I think it was I got about 30 something or 40 pips, and I was out of the market as quick as possible before it continued to make its move to the upside. All right. So guys, of course, looking at what is going to happen in the coming week, I'm still very, very positive that the USDJPY is going to still make its way up till it gets to this area, right? I'm still very positive it's coming to test this trend line or even test this resistance area. So guys, let's watch out for trade opportunities that's going to form. Apparently, we might see it come break this structure, come back, to somewhere here, and then begins to make its way like that till it gets here. If I carefully look at it, this is 1 hour time frame. I can clearly see that there's a trend line that's formed in this area already. I'm carefully going to be looking at it as well. So possibly the trade I'm going to be looking forward to take in the coming week will be a possible trade setup when this market returns. I'll take this out. If this market returns to test this line again, this trend line again, of course, I'm going to be possibly looking for a possible trade to the upside, because I believe that this market is going to come to hit this area. And of course, I'll just target all the way to this resistance area. But remember, like I've mentioned before, I use what I call the trailing stop. I don't I take profit and just let it hit there. Of course, we'll target here and I'll begin to trail the stop as it goes to my direction. All right. So this might be the possible trade setup I'm looking forward to take with the USDJPY. So let's look forward for this trade in the coming week. Okay. And right now we jump right straight to gold and we'll see what's happened. So gold last week has been an interesting move to the downside. I think gold, we might see a gold that is coming to retest this zone before it goes up, right? So remember, in the previous weeks, we are hoping and we are expecting gold to come back and, clear these liquidities that were made in this area, and then clear this one that was clearly made in this area. But of course, gold clearly disrespected all of these places and then continued to make its way to the upside. Gold is going crazy. It's doing all-time high, and high is going all higher. But now we are probably might be seeing a possibility that gold is doing, it's coming to retest. Of course, we see that at this point gold has changed character, right? In this area, gold has finally changed its character and is beginning to make a descent to the downside. Okay, if we can see, it's clearly making its way to the downside. But what do we see? What I see and what I'm expecting to happen is that probably maybe gold might not retrace all the way to these zones or these areas we clearly marked out before. We might just see a gold probably might just come back to test this area before it starts to go to the upside. But clearly at this point, we just have to really look at what is going to happen in the coming week. But if you clearly look at the chart, you will see that of course there's been this down trend has formed and it's retraced to this point. I'm just seeing a gold that will come back and come and test maybe this area of um, support before it begins to go back up, right? So if we clearly mark what has happened within the last week, we'll see that there's a solid place of support and resistance here, right? Clearly marked out. So this is probably, another area we're going to look out for. And of course, I will mark this one that was generated up in this point, of course. So now these two zones I will look forward to. But if you notice, gold has clearly come to take out this, has come to test this area of support, right? To test this area of support in the last week here, and then it has continued to now make its way up. If we mark out this zone with the Fibs tool, and we see, okay, let's see what's going to happen possibly for a retracement, and we mark out this zone. I will just expand this chart so it becomes clear. All right. So if we mark this zone with the Fibs, we'll see that gold has clearly even broken the 618. But possibly what I think gold is coming to do is, of course, there's another area of resistance here, right? I see another area of resistance. So guys, in the coming week, let's carefully watch what's going to happen here. Now, what I think I'm going to be looking forward to if I want to trade on gold is a gold that will come and test this area clean here before it starts to go down, right? Come test this area and then push back down. So guys, in the coming week, I'm going to be carefully watching what gold is going to do. At this point, it's a bit not too easy to say if gold is going to retrace all the way to come and clean up all of this area of liquidities. But of course, for a possible trade setup for the coming week, guys, I'm carefully going to be looking out for this. Now, if I look out for this, where a gold will come and test this area of resistance and begin to go down, then I'm hopeful going to be taking a trade from this point, somewhere here, put my stop loss just above this level and look at this possible trade. But of course, if this trade setup happens, of course, I'm able to catch some significant move in the market. But the overall structure I'm looking forward to is either of the two things. First, I'm looking for a gold that is going to come down, break this, all right, break this, come back, test this area again, come and swipe all of these areas, all right, and keep doing all of that, swipe all of these areas before gold begins to go up again to make its new higher high, right? So at this point, of course, I'm just going to be looking and watching the market closely. If the market is able to give me this trade that I've marked out for the next week, I'm happy. And then again, I'll begin to watch what is going to happen in this area, right? I'm beginning to watch what is going to happen in this area. If gold comes back again to break this and then come to retest it, then I'll just begin to look for bearish trades all the way. I'm looking to go short all the way. All right. Once gold breaks this, and then I'm going to begin to look for bearish trades all the way. But for now, what I'm very hopeful is going to happen in the coming week, like I've marked out, is gold coming to test this area of resistance, and then I'll take a trade to the downside, right? If I catch this trade and then gold comes back to break this, like I've said, if I catch this trade that gold does this, comes test this our area, and then begins to make its way, then give us this trade, and then maybe push back up or does whatever magic it does here and breaks this and comes back here, of course, I'm happy to again look for trade setups to the downside again from any point from here again, to the downside. All right, so those are the kind of possible trade setups I'm looking forward to take from gold in the coming week. All right, so guys, remember I promised I'm going to be trading live with you guys. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to pick up a challenge and then we trade it together. All the trade setups, every move that I take in the market, every analysis I take to take every possible trade, I'll put it on the channel. I'll create another new playlist where we're going to follow the trade setups that I'm going to be taking and all the trades that I'm going to take for that possible challenge until I pass that challenge. I'll post it on our channel. So guys, follow me, subscribe, like the videos, and stay tuned. When I start taking those live trades with you guys, I encourage anybody who has a small size account or who wants to grow with me to watch, follow the channel and follow the trades. I'm going to be analyzing every trade and I'm going to be posting them here. And if you're now interested, we now find a way that you can trade the same time I trade. Maybe we begin to go live to bring you live trades as I trade them. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, and of course, love you guys and trade carefully. Please manage your risks and trade wisely. Thank you very much.